Hey, what's up, comrades? Hope everyone's doing great. We're here to talk about something I never thought I'd ever talk about. And that's motherfucking Call of Duty Vanguard. Holy shit, they did it. The hackers, they can do anything. I don't know why they did it, but they did. I was literally just like cruising through Fit Girl repack like I do a couple times a week, just to see if there's anything new to put on my drives to kind of store forever, and maybe play at some point. And then all of a sudden it was like Call of Duty Vanguard. I was like, the fuck? They finally did it, huh? And it took me a minute. For some reason, sometimes with Fit Girl, I have to like re-download stuff like 3 or 4 times to get it like completely set up. It might just be the nature of like the thing, and so if you're ever using Fit Girl, the repack, sometimes you might just get a little frustrated. I would say just like re-download stuff or like keep trying. There's other times too where it's like I go to like unpack it and it's like failure, and then I try it again and it just works and I've changed to nothing and I'm like, okay, whatever. Anyway, moving on. So yeah, holy shit, those crazy bastards did it, and it works great. Like this might be the least problem I've had with a Call of Duty game outside, you know, at least this plays better than all 3 Modern Warfare games, which I legitimately played on an Xbox with like a purchased game, right? So this hacked copy of Call of Duty Vanguard, which is also made by Infinity Ward, right? It was the one right before they started the Modern Warfare, the new Modern Warfare franchise. So it's the same group of people and the same kind of like woke bullshit inside the game. It's not as bad as the Modern Warfare games, that's for damn sure. But you can kind of get like the beginnings of it here. This game came out in like 2021, I think, so not that long ago. Anyway, but yeah, it plays. And shockingly, the game is not bad. Like, no joke. Like, the story's fine. Like, I heard so much shit about this game, and I'm like, was I hearing? Am I mixing this up with like the? There's that one EA makes, right? It's not Modern Warfare. It's called Battlefield. Yeah, like the Battlefield game. There's a Battlefield game that came out in the same time with like paraplegic, like quadriplegic, like ninjas or something. And that. So maybe I'm just thinking of that because, but I honestly didn't hear good things about this when I was trying to look it up to talk about it at the end of my World War II video. Also, people were just like, man, fuck that game, it sucks. But I played through this campaign, and maybe the multiplayer sucked, but I was like, campaign was fine. It was way better than the new Modern Warfare games, right? Like, Leagues, like, I enjoyed the story. The story was like, it was 100 times better. It made more sense. The characters were more likable. The main lead, one of the main characters is a woman, and she's ugly, but not like so ugly, right? Not like, ugh. She's more of like a Sev from Black Ops 6, where it's like, at certain angles, I was like, oh, she's pretty. And she did have curves for like the little bit she was allowed to have them because she was like fighting in Russia in the winter, but at some point she's wearing like a cute medic outfit, and I'm like, all right, right? But it's not just her. Like most of the characters, there's like this Australian guy who looks hot as shit, right? And I'm like no homo at all, but I'm like, damn, they really put a lot of effort into making this guy looking great. But then everybody else looked like, eh. There's a British guy who's black. He looks all right. Yeah, he looks all right too. But the Australian guy, damn. Like, there's an American pilot. He looks bad. The Russian lady's like dad and brother look gross. Like, the dad looks like a puppet. Like, it's bizarre because it's it's one of these Call of Duty games. So everything's like hyper realistic. But then he looks like he does not fit in this game. Like, he looks like he was made in a different engine, or like they were using like DAZ 3D models and they threw in some like honey select. Like, every time I saw him, I was like, something's off about this dude. Like, it was like bizarre to look at. And then her brother just kind of looks beat up too. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, well, it's like. There's the one super hot guy. It's not like in the Modern Warfare games where like every guy is like hot in a different way, and then like the women are like look like men, like ugly men. Like, oh man. And so it's a problem. The only problems I had running this game was that I was trying to play it on the fucking plane because I had to take a plane ride across the whole fucking world to go to like this week-long class or whatever. And so I was like, I had nothing to do for like 12 goddamn hours. And so I brought my laptop, obviously. And so I was trying to play it, but it just the power on the plane didn't like work all the time, and so then the thing would like keep shutting down, running out of power, or like it would like overheat because you're like in this little chamber. It was bizarre. Anyway, that's beyond the game. But let's see. But otherwise, yeah, no problems. Like literally, the game never blacked out. The game never froze. The game never like kicked me out. The game didn't like corrupt my files, delete my saves. None of that stuff. Like this hacked version of Vanguard is the best Infinity Ward game I've played since Call of Duty 3. Like no fucking joke. Well, I think they did Advanced Warfare maybe too, but like we're gonna go with the actual Modern Warfare 3, not the new shitty one. All right, so but that's not saying this game is good, right? It's not like I consider the Black Ops games to be anywhere from like a 7 to like a 10, to be completely honest. But this game is like a 6, so it's not as good as any of the Black Ops games, I would say. Like it's probably you know what? It's probably a little bit better than World at War. Like World War II was better. It was a better game, better story. I was more invested in the characters. But this is slightly worse than that. And plus, I don't give a fuck about Nazis or the Germans or World War II. I literally don't. It's so hard for me to give a fuck about like this war that occurred like almost 100 fucking years ago. That is like whatever. So that, and it's not even that it's like not interesting. It's that it's so overplayed. It's like I've never been to war in World War II in Europe, but I could probably recount like all the major battles on both the Pacific and the European front from like memory, just from playing so many goddamn games about it, and then having to learn about it, and having to watch Band of Goddamn Brothers with my dad and shit. It's like I don't need to know anything more about Ardennes Forest or about the Marinais or about fucking the Marshall Island incident, or Pearl Goddamn Harbor, where my grandfather was like at, and you know, heard all the fucking stories about that shit constantly. And it's like, man, it's not. I really don't give a fuck about any of this stuff at all. So that being said, going back to the story of Vanguard, it's hard for me to get invested, but the World War II thing is almost like not an important thing. So the way the game sets up is there's like there's like a, what do they call that thing in story writing? There's like a plot overlay, like an umbrella of plot, and then you keep going to like these mini stories that explain, like, give some of the characters backgrounds where you like replay some like major events. And I do like that they spend some time in the African campaign, because like that is the area that is the most not addressed at all. Like, I'm trying to think, this might be the first time that we've been to like Africa in one of these like World War II games since like way back in the day. And it was with the Australians. And so the Australian guy is honestly the best part of this game, like hands down. The Russian sniping stuff's good because I like sniping, but it's just like a boss battle, and it's stupid as shit. She also gets like dick rioted a lot by like the main character, who's the British guy. There's two British guys. But one of the British guys is like almost inconsequential. I think Richard is his name. So Arthur. I think Arthur is the main. He's the black guy, of course. So he's the main character. So him and the woman get like the most mad respect, but then the Australian guy gets a lot of respect too, and the American just gets like shit on completely. And then one of the British guys dies, and there's like a Ukrainian guy, and he's like almost a non-factor in the game, but we'll get to that. So again, it's like you can kind of see like some whiffs of like the wokeness seeping into this game, but in 2021 it should have been much more like perverse. So like, good on Infinity Ward with this game at least. I guess this had to have come out after Modern Warfare. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe this wasn't Infinity Ward. Maybe this was like a Sledgehammer game, because Infinity Ward is such shit, man. Like, the Modern Warfare games are awful. They're god awful. So yeah, maybe this was Sledgehammer, because there's Sledgehammer is it Raven now? There's like Sledgehammer, Treyarch, Infinity Ward, and Raven Software. But Raven Software, which used to help with like the id Software games, right? I don't know. The problem is when you start these games up, it always says Treyarch now, because Treyarch is the main Call of Duty, but then it lists like everybody else who like had like even like a whisper of like help with the games. So I don't know. Anyway, it probably wasn't Infinity Ward, because Infinity Ward was making Modern Warfare games at this juncture, and they were all shit. And this game is not shit. It's fine. Like, there's no other way to put this. It's like a 6 out of 10. It's like, that's fine. And for me, a 5 out of 10 is like an average game. It's like, yeah, the game's fine. Like, that game it's really like, yeah, it's acceptable. All the Modern Warfare games are like below that, the new ones at least. But this game is like a 6. Like, it's like, yeah. I mean, I had fun for paying nothing for it. Like, the campaign was short. It was good. Like, I enjoyed it. The story like made sense. It wasn't like bullshitty. There was like some heroic moments. There was one, like the last level was kind of stupid, but not like a bad way. Just kind of like, okay, like rolling my eyes. But some of the levels were like fucking pretty good to play through. And again, there no weird issues, no like things not working, no just getting like massacred, like, dying for no reason. Honestly, the sniper stuff was kind of the most bullshit, but that's only because of like this weird boss fight we had to have, which we'll get there. Okay. So, let's see. Angels honestly say drunks or hit that, or like sub. Oh yeah. Okay, so I talk about that. Farrah, gross. Okay, Paulina. Oh yeah, Paulina's her name. Parts of it. Okay, cool. All right, let's get started with the story. Anyway, so it's a Call of Duty game. You know how it plays. You know how it looks. You know what it does. Oh yeah, so the game starts off and it's actually pretty fucking cinematic. So you get like this, you get like Hamburg 1945, and it's like raining, and there's like all 6 people, and they're on a train, and we're playing as Novak, who's like this mysterious figure. Don't get too attached to Novak, because spoiler, he dies in this first level, and he never gets brought up again. And apparently, I looked into it, because I was like, the name sounds vaguely familiar. Like, maybe it's on like a Warzone map, or maybe it's related to like World War II, or like one of the Black Ops games. But no, he's just they wrote a comic about Novak that released around the same time, and that is like his whole backstory. So everyone else gets like a piece of the pie in the game. Novak, you just play as Novak in this like introduction level, and then he dies, and literally no one talks about it. Like they're mad for like 2 seconds when he gets killed, and then he never gets brought up again, which is unusual because like other people die, and there's like whole things about it. Like later on, they tie back to it, and people are like really attached. But this guy's just like, who the fuck is this guy? Like fuck that guy. Who cares? And I was like, Jesus Christ. Anyway, so we just like kill our way through this train. There's 2 trains right next to each other. We're on one of them. We're trying to like get on the other one, but we have to keep bouncing back and forth, which is stupid but fun, right? So again, it's like this game's got some like dumb logic reasoning, but I never was not enjoying myself except that boss fight that Polina has to do, the Russian sniper. So I was just like, fuck it, whatever. So we're just rolling down. We're killing Krauts. We get some personalities from the different characters. Like at some point we see Polina like leap from one train to the other and like stab a guy like a Assassin's Creed style, which is again stupid but badass. And she's wearing this like fucking cloak. I was like, the fuck is this? One of the guys like hops in like a tank that's being carried, like blows the shit out of like this train car, stuff like that. Like it's just like good old fun, and we're just like shoot, move, climb, shoot, roll into this area, slide under this desk, and the sliding in this game is outrageous. Like if you're running and you duck to go down into like a tunnel or something, you will like slide through the whole fucking tunnel. Like that's like you slide like 20 yards. Like the fuck is going on, game? But again, I'm laughing because it was like enjoyable. I was like, who cares? This is good stuff. And it's the whole intro is pretty spot on, right? It's very good. And then we learn later, like all these characters are using like their special abilities, but they all have like special abilities. Like when you get like kill streaks in the multiplayer, they each one, but Novak doesn't because fuck Novak. But the other four have like abilities, and you can kind of see them using them because there's like really the 4 main playable characters, and you just play Novak here, and then the 6th person Richard is just like tied into Arthur's campaign because they were both British sergeants. Which I bring that up specifically, as you know, if you follow my stuff, that I'm not going to spend a whole half an hour discussing my misunderstanding of how like this company that spends like $150 million on a game can't ask like somebody's like dishonorably discharged cousin how like rank systems work in the military, but I guess it's too much. It's too much to ask them. With their like 7,000 people in the credits, like Jesus. So yeah. Oh yeah, so we kill our way. Eventually, we kill all the Nazis or the Krauts off this thing. And the one thing that is kind of woke about this game that I don't like, and the World War II did a great job, is that nobody during World War II was calling the Nazis the Nazis. They were calling the Germans or the Krauts. This whole thing about the National Socialist Party was like an after invention. Like people did not. It'd be like the Germans calling the Americans the Democrats. Right, like, the Democrats are fighting. We're fighting the Democrats. It's like, why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense. That's like complete revisionist history. And so the wokest thing is like calling the Nazis Nazis, like not in a way that like where the Germans are being like, our party, the National Socialist Party, or the Nazi Party, or like when someone's referring to like, the Nazi Party that took over Germany. No, they're like, let's kill some more Nazis, and it's like none of these German soldiers are Nazis. They're German soldiers who the Nazi Party is like in charge, but. It's like stupid bullshit that doesn't make any sense. So we kill our way and we get to this sub base, and this is we came here to like find out some information because somebody had like some before knowledge, and that this whole task force that Arthur put together was put together to like find out this like secret information about like a Project Phoenix. So we find some more paperwork once we get in there about Project Phoenix, and we see the Germans moving like a crate of something. They just guess it's the paperwork they're looking for onto the sub, and so we decide we gotta stop them. And there's a conversation about like even the Germans are like hiding things from the Germans. Like that's what this paperwork indicates, is that like they're not a united front. And so we start killing our way down to the submarine. We split up into 2 different groups. One like goes low, one goes high, like pulling his sniping from the top. And even with Polina being like a Russian, like literally just being a Russian sniper, who she made her name being like a Russian sniper and like fighting off the war of Stalingrad, her dick riding is like 1/10 that of like Farah being the 2nd greatest sniper of all time, right after like Ghost or something. And it's like, this fucking like Afghani rebel who can't fucking like, who's been fighting for 20 years and hasn't like freed her country. Like she's the greatest sniper of all time. Got it. Roger that. Okay. And no one says that about Polina. They're just like, she's a great sniper. She was like one of the and each one of these. But that's the thing. It's like one of those things where it's like Polina gets like her shining moment, but then literally the Australian guy. It's like the Australians would have not beat back like Rommel and his men if not for this guy, and he's like a white guy. So it's more like the whole game is kind of exaggerating about the importance of each one of these guys and their missions, and the fact that like one's a black guy and one's a woman is not like it's not a woke thing. They just happen to be that way. Right, that's how I feel about it. It's like making the main British character like black is kind of like a wokeism, but at the same time, it's not like black people didn't fight in World War II. In fact, there's a level that kind of focuses on it a little too much, but again, it's like that happened, and there were like Negro units in World War II, as they called them at the time, which is why I'm saying it. But they, but you're bringing it up. So bringing it up here to me is not like a bad thing or like a woke thing or anything. It's like, yeah, these units exist. They were underrepresented. World War II brought this up as well with the engineer. I can't remember what his name was. So that's fine. I got no beef with that at all. It's like historical, right? But then maybe if they had like a whole woman team of like snipers, it's like, that's bullshit. Like, yes, there were some women snipers in Russia because women can shoot guns too. And so, right? And they obviously weren't going to put them on the front line. So they got rifles and like shot people from a distance. So like, that's 100% accurate. So having one just be like the super famous one, because everyone in this is like super important to like the front that each one's fighting in their own individual story. I have no beef with that whatsoever. On just to like kind of broach that subject while we're here. Okay. So we fight our way into the sub. We find, as Novak, we find the stash of paperwork in like a crate, and then we get kind of jacked up. And so after we get jacked up, 5 of us are tied up to chairs while this German commander, Fleschinger, or Freisinger, starts harassing us. And we see that like the American guy, God, what the fuck's his name? He's like an Air Force pilot. Anyway, so the American guy is not there. And that becomes like kind of an issue in some of the story going forward with that. But he kind of like, he took off at that point. So this Freisinger, he is like a real asshole. Like a huge asshole. But he's also a good villain. He's like almost a cartoony, like German World War II villain, but they held back just enough. So he taunts everybody. He gets like real into Arthur's face because he's black, and like, how could you guys follow this like mongrel and stuff like that? And then Arthur like snaps back, and Polina like spits at him and like yells at him, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, fuck you guys." So he picks up a chair and kills Novak right there. So that's Novak. that's the end of his career. Oh my gosh. Oh goodness. All right, so with Novak safely out of our care and interest, the rest of the team gets dragged off, and Wade, I remembered his name. Wade, the American, having apparently like abandoned the team. The rest of them, the last 4, which is Polina, Arthur, Richard, and God, I cannot remember the Australian guy's name off the top of my head. It's like Riggs, I want to say. We'll get to it during Harry's part. I actually wrote his name down somewhere, but they'll get dragged to Berlin, and we get this like cute little cutscene. Where we get some more character to them. The 4 of them are like chained up in the back of like a Hooskow, like one of these old trucks, and they're like arguing with each other and talking. And then Arthur apparently knows like German fluently and Russian, and like Polina's like very unimpressed with like his Russian. Is like, no, fuck you. And then she apparently knew Fressinger from somewhere else, and then someone's like, why didn't you tell us? And she's like, it didn't come up. And something. Let's see. The Warzone character. No, we already talked about that. Okay. Anyway, I hate the shit when it's like multimedia. Just I put this in here, and I just to reiterate what I just said like a couple minutes ago, was like, if you're gonna have a main character in the game, like a character you actually play that has like a backstory, like this is not just some like loose character that's part of like one side story or like whatever. It's like, hey, if you're gonna introduce this character, I better be able to like understand his story in the game, especially if I'm gonna fucking play him. It's like, go fuck yourselves. Anyway. Okay, yeah, she knew him. Okay. First, the Aussie and her argue. Arthur thinks back. Okay, yeah. So as we're traveling on the way to Berlin, we're not quite there. So in the back of the car, the Aussie and Polina's are really like arguing about Fressinger and all this stuff, and then Arthur just kind of like checks out for a minute. He apparently was a paratrooper that jumped into Germany during Operation Tonga in like 1944, and that Richard was part of his whole expedition doing that. And so like fucking airborne, hell yeah. So y'all know. Oh Lord. One thing though, while we're here, before we really get into the meat of the story, if you've seen any of my Modern Warfare stuff, which came out before this, you would know that I get really up in the arms about like the promotions and shit. Like it just drives me nuts. And I've talked about a little bit of this video, but just to hit it real hard, real quick, at some point in this operation, in this like first level, Richard and Arthur are both identified as sergeants, like literal just E5 sergeants. And I know it's slightly different than the British Army, but it's not that different because you have like private, lance corporal, corporal, sergeant. So they're very low ranking enlisted characters. And then this game, the modern era is like 1945. So within 1 year, Arthur somehow went from sergeant to lieutenant, which is completely fucking ridiculous. So did he already have like a bachelor's degree, or like was he already like a knighted? Like his family was already like lords? Like those are the two fucking ways you become an officer in the military, period. So did he go to like officer candidacy school like in the meantime during the middle of the fucking war to become a lieutenant? No, that never happened. Like why is he a lieutenant? He should have just been a lieutenant in, I don't understand. Activision, if anyone at Activision is watching this, or Treyarch or whatever, can you please just give me a call next time you do any of this bullshit, and I will just like explain to me the ranks and how they change throughout the game, and I will like walk you through why that doesn't make sense, and just like it's so simple. Arthur should have been a lieutenant. I mean, he takes over this Operation Tonga when like the actual captain dies. Also, they have a captain leading the airborne mission, which makes no fucking sense. Because that's not what happens. All the, like, master parachutists who, like, stand at the front of the plane, trust me, I fucking know this for a fact. All the master parachutists, like, stand at the fucking front of the plane are, like, sergeant first class or master sergeants or something. There's no captain standing in front of the plane being like, all right, troops, let's jump out of this fucking plane. No, they're in the back with everybody else, because that way the first person out gets shot, first of all, and they're not sending right by the goddamn door, and they're not training soldiers on how to jump out. Like, this guy's like, oh, he trained me how to be a paratrooper. It's like, the captain trained you as sergeant? Like, what the no, that makes fucking sense, game. Like, the fuck? Just make Arthur a lieutenant, make that guy who's jumping out of the plane a master sergeant, who's getting people to jump out of the plane a master sergeant, and then 1 year later when he's a captain, like, World War II was kind of crazy. So sometimes people are just, like, battlefield promotion time, right? So he could have literally gone from, like, a lieutenant to, like, a major in, like, 2 months if there was just, like, no other majors around and someone had to do it. But going from a sergeant to, like, lieutenant, like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, the fuck are you guys doing in this thing? Anyway, okay, that's it. I'm not gonna bring it up anymore. Not gonna take it up anywhere. Okay. So anyway, let's see. And why I'm making lieutenant, sightseeing, airborne. Yep, airborne. So it's pretty good line. Like this is excellent. Like it looks just like it fucking does when you do it in real life. You're sitting in the plane, you got the parachutes all ready to get rigged up and go, and you got some guy yelling at you from the front of the plane, and then you mosey on up. And in this situation, they're getting hit by flat cannons, so the engine gets set on fire. And so when Arthur jumps out, I was like, oh, they're just gonna ignore that fire in the engine. I was like, no, his parachute gets burned the shit up, and it's like, oh fuck, he's dead. But thank goodness they always make you go with a backup chute. So he gets that backup chute and he pulls it out. He takes a minute, which I'm okay with, because like a realistic person, when like your real chute goes and there's like flak everywhere and planes are crashing and stuff, you might like you're maybe not like totally with it, but this is why you practice so much, that you're just like, nope, fucking parachute's burnt, pull the backup. So he pulls it back up at the last minute, well, not the quite last minute, but then he crashes in the water, so it kind of did something good, I guess. And then he like crawls his ass out of there, and then we get to like what an absolutely terrible part of the game. And this part, Arthur has to like avoid being seen for this first little part, but you're like in an open field, and then you just see like guys coming, and I'm like, okay, so I'll go the opposite direction. So I went the opposite direction of where the guys were coming, and then I got shot and killed like immediately, and I was like, was that not the correct thing to do? And then I spent like 10-15 minutes like going in every direction possible before I just went back to the original direction, which was the opposite. But this time, instead of like being sneaky and quick, I just was sneaky and slow. And because I was sneaky and slow, apparently someone didn't see me that I couldn't see, like in the tree line. And so then I was able to survive. I'm like, okay, Lord Christ. But that was not fun at all. Like, again, it took me like 13 times. And then as we get out of this like initial part, the rest of the level's fine. We see this like burning windmill in the distance, which is pretty badass. And Arthur's like, okay, that's where we gotta go to meet up with everybody. So after we sneak around, we kill some dudes, take their guns, eventually get to the windmill, we bump into Richard. Hey, this is where they met. Oh, this is great. This is super fun. And they get into an argument because all the officers are dead, apparently, and all the higher than like E5 are dead, or whatever it is in the British Army, E4. No, wait, private, lance corporal, yeah, E4. So that's all that's left. It's 2 sergeants to run everything, and everyone else is like not a sergeant or higher, which makes absolutely no fucking sense. But whatever. Okay, so they get into an argument because Richard is like, we've got to abandon ship and like head their direction, and Arthur's like, no, we were sent here. We gotta stop the we gotta blow up the naval batteries or whatever, so that the Navy can get in here and like beat the shit out of people, and the Marines can drop and all that stuff. Like that's why we're here. We can't just give up. And they argue, and they're like, all right, let's put it to a poll. And then they all kind of vote, but it's a quick vote. Like one guy's like, I'm with you, Arthur, and another guy just like nods, and then Richard's like, all right, I guess you win. And I'm like, there's like 20 dudes here. You don't want to ask anyone else. Ooh boy. So then we kill our way to like through a bunch of Germans, and eventually get to like this truck, and it's like, all right, let's take the truck. So we get in the back of the truck, and we're just like chilling on the truck driving. And when we get out of the truck, it's like dawn. It's almost dawn, and it's like, oh man, we gotta finish the mission before dawn. I'm like, brother, it's dawn right now. Like it's too late. But then as we're walking up, Call of Duty does this thing where like you look at people, oftentimes it'll show their rank, and like a few times, like World at War, when a guy was like a corporal and then the sergeant gets killed and his rank changes to sergeant, because that's like how it works, Battlefield promotions. But it's like there's like 100 people here, and every single one is like a private, lance corporal, or corporal. So it's like, I guess not only was it like only sergeants are left alive, but there's only 2 sergeants. So obviously Richard and Arthur have to be in charge. And this could be easily fixed, this stupid nonsense that I'm looking at, if you just made Arthur a lieutenant to start with, and Richard like a staff sergeant, or colored sergeant, or whatever the fuck they call it in England. Anyway. So these batteries need to be destroyed, and we pull up our little binoculars, and we are looking around to see what's going on. And there's like a minefield, and then there's like some pillboxes, and then the batteries. So it's like, oh fuck, what are we gonna do here? And very, very, very quickly, they're like, well, we got some trucks. We can just roll the trucks in the mines, and then run up behind it, and we can just like throw grenades inside the pillboxes. And then we got like 4 pieces of C4, which is just enough to destroy all the batteries. So Richard, you can take a contingent because you're the highest ranking person here, as well as Arthur. And then Arthur will take his contingent, and they'll go blow up the batteries. And they both have like a flare gun. And then whenever the batteries are down, they'll shoot their flare guns off in the air. And then the Navy will know that like it's safe to land, and they don't need to bombard the shit out of the coast and kill all these guys. And in my head, I'm like, well, if the Navy can just easily like bombard the shit out of the coast, why would you be here in the first place? But no, it makes sense, because then they have to like, they're battling with like these batteries up on this hill. But yeah, because they don't know any better. So, okay, that works. So that was fun. So Arthur climbs into a truck, which again doesn't make sense as like the highest ranking person here, but whatever. He drives it down. He leaps out of the truck at the last minute. It rolls into the minefield, and then all the privates and lance corporals and corporals like rush the pillboxes. And so we go up there and blow the shit out of them. And then we get to like the first battery, and we blow that shit out of that. And it's like, all right, on to the next battery. So we head over to the next battery, blow the shit out of that. And then Arthur's like, all right, I'm pretty sure Richard's got his thing taken care of, so I'm just going to go ahead and blow this flare gun off, because I've seen it hurt some explosions. So he goes to fire the flare, and wah, wah, wah. It doesn't work. So it's like, fuck. And then he's like looking, and he's like, Richard hasn't sent his thing off. He might still have it. Maybe he's dead. I don't know. I'm going to go check it out. So then we rush across the battlefield right as the Navy's showing up and unloading absolute destruction on on like the cliffside coastline. Just like bombarding the shit out of it and killing everybody. Like no hard bar. So as Arthur, we rush across, find Richard. He is like in a real bad spot. Like he looks like he's barely alive. And we grab his flare gun and like fire it off in the air. And then the Navy's like, okay, we'll stop. Oh man. And in my head, I'm like, this seems like a really bad like methodology to make this happen. But I guess it is what it is. They do what they got. Because it's like the Krauts could just get one of these fire guns, fire it off, and then the Navy just rolls up and gets the shit kicked out of them. But whatever. It was fun. I enjoyed it. It's just a goddamn video game after all. And at the end of the day, if I'm having a good time, like I've mentioned multiple times, especially in these Call of Duty games, is like, you know, I don't mind fighting zombies in the middle of this like normal world, like in a Black Ops timeline, if it's fun. If it's fun, it's like all's forgiven. And the greatest problem with the Modern Warfare games, the recent ones, or the remakes or whatever, is that they're not fun, and so all their glaring assholery and terrible writing and just bad gameplay is like there's like nothing to distract from it, because the game is just awful. There's nothing good about those games at all. All right. Okay, so it's a good time to know, I've kind of mentioned this before, but this game has like its plot umbrella that ties everything together, and it's like it's got like a main story about the guys in the prison and them tricking like the Germans into like letting them live, and then eventually they go and like get the Phoenix Papers, the Pelican Brief or whatever. Well, at the same time, they just everybody gets like a level or two to themselves in the past that we get to like run through and learn more about them and do some like fun or not so fun in the case of Wade, who's the American, because he has a flying mission, and it's like, God, the only people who've done this right were World War II, when we were like in that fucking God, I don't know what they're called, not the A-10, the it's like Bluebird or something. I can't remember. Anyway, So as we head back to the main story, the van, or the Jeep, or not the Jeep, the van rolls up, everyone's in chains, and they get thrown into a cage. And then we get to see a German guy with glasses, and he's like writing. And this guy's name is Richter. He's kind of like the sub antagonist, and he's some pencil pusher. But he's like ranked up, and he's never gone to war. He's never really dealt with people. He just like does paperwork, and now he's in charge of like the interrogation because Fressinger, or whatever his name is, doesn't have time for it. So he's like, Richter, I need you to go take care of this thing. Give me information. And he's like really concerned about how these guys knew about Project Phoenix. And at the same time, it's like, bro, what are you gonna do about it? Just like kill them and be done with the whole situation. But he doesn't, and he regrets that in the end. I'll tell you that much. Because he wanted to ensure, there's something about him wanting to ensure like a pathway to some airfield, so that he can secure something, right? It's very ambiguous right now. Like, I don't understand what's going on here. But Richter, who is less of an asshole and more of like a true believer in like the cause of Adolf Hitler, is like, all right, I'm gonna go do this for the Fuhrer. And then Fressinger is like, yeah, the Fuhrer, whatever. I don't give a fuck about that guy. But because he's like a true believer, because he's a pencil pusher, doesn't have like real combat experience, Arthur is like very easily able to manipulate him according to the thoughts in Arthur's head. And the game starts to set up that they're going to pull some sort of like Ocean's 11 style hijinks on this guy to manipulate him into like releasing them or giving them information about Project Phoenix that they know, even though Richter has no information on Project Phoenix. Nothing makes sense. And again, the writing in this is like, it's not bad, as in like the characters are talking about stuff and I can follow everything and I understand what they're doing, but then they don't actually do any of the stuff they technically say they're going to do. Like Arthur's like, I'm going to go manipulate this guy, and because I'm black, it's going to be easy for him to like fall into my trap. And so he goes and he just gets the shit kicked out of him, and then we go back. Then he goes to throw him back in the prison, and he's like, and they're like, how'd it go? And he's like, everything's going to plan. And I'm like, I don't understand what your plan is. Ooh, boy. Yeah, and that's the everything. Anytime someone goes over there to talk to this guy until they finally kill him at the end, it's just like, oh, I gotta, did you do the thing? And they're like, yeah, I did the thing. And they all like wink and high five each other. I'm like, what thing? You just went and got tortured and told them about your life. Like, the fuck? What do you mean? What thing did you do? I don't understand, game, what you're trying to imply that these people are doing. They're just getting this, like, they're delusional. Oh, man. Anyway, so after he protects the prisoner. Okay, yeah. So Richter like interviews Arthur, and then he goes up and starts talking to Fressinger about Project Phoenix. He's like, I've never heard of this thing, and Fressinger's like, find out more about it. In fact, don't ask too many questions about it, but ask enough questions so you can find out where they got that information from. But better not ask them about what Project Phoenix is. And then then Richter goes back and he grabs up Polina, the Russian sniper lady, and then it's like Stalingrad, 1942, and then we get this like really cutesy like story with her and her family like having coffee and like snacks for breakfast before she has to go to like the medical service corps, because the Germans are they turned against Russia. Now they're pushing in, but they're in Stalingrad, they should be fine. And then the dad's like polishing like a rifle the whole time, and like Misha shows up. Misha's the older brother of Polina, and he's like teaching the new privates how to create like Molotov cocktails, right? Because this whole thing is like a cliche borderline like offensive take on like Russians. But then they chit chat for a bit, and the dad's just like polishing his gun, and they're talking about how Polina should be like a soldier because she's the best shot in like the whole town or something, and her dad almost as good as her dad and whatnot. And I think she's supposed to be like a teenager, but she looks like she's 30. So again, it's like that woke craziness where it's like they're treating her like she's like supposed to be 19, 20 maybe, but she looks like she's 45. Like it's kind of embarrassing. She does have like a supple body though, so it's exactly like Sev. Like you look at Sev and you're like, I think I'm supposed to be attracted to her, but I'm not, because she looks like a 100-year-old woman, even though I think she's supposed to be like 22. Like none of this makes any sense. But the scenes are good. They're boring. Like this whole scene with the family, and then like the follow-up, and like Misha leaves like his bottles in the home, so Polina has to like chase him down and give him back and whatnot, and like everything's acted well. The characters have good reactions, the models are fine, except the dad, who looks like the dwarf from the new Snow White movies more than anything else, while everyone else looks like a realistic human being. But it's just like boring. I'm like, what am I doing? And then after we like chit chat the Molotov cocktails and return that, talk about dad loving guns and like how Misha's like a lovable goof and all that stuff. By the time she gets like the bottles back to her brother, she's like, oh shit, I'm gonna be late. I gotta run over the rooftops again. And I was like, run over the rooftops? And it's like, you bet game. Here we go. It's time to parkour. like Mirror's Edge. I was like, the fuck are we doing? And only Polina does that, and only for a couple different sections. And it's mostly related to climbing up buildings and then running along them and then sliding down buildings, right? And every time there's like a building she can climb, there's like obvious brickwork. And if that wasn't obvious enough for you, where you like, because half the time I just looked for like the open brick walls, and I was like, that's where I'm supposed to climb. But if that's not obvious for you, if you look up slightly, you'll always see like an extremely bright yellow like tarp anywhere that she can like climb up to. And I was like, this is so dumb. Like, the fuck are you doing? But again, it's like fine. The parkour works. You just like run up to the wall. You Spider-Man stick to the wall, climb up the wall, and then keep running. And I was like, whatever. So she finally gets over to like her little roll 2, which is set up in some square. After we like parkour over there, and then as soon as we get there, like Nazi bombers come and start killing the shit out of everybody, and so she's like, oh shit, I gotta go back to my dad. So instead of doing her literal job to be a medic and take care of people, she's like, adios. And so we parkour all the way back over to her dad's house, and right when we get there, he's like firing down on like the Germans with his rifle. I'm like, man, they got here real fast. Like the bombers just showed up. And so he gets got, and so we like parkour some more to get inside her home and pick up Dad's rifle, and then go see if we can rescue. And then we point out the window to try to rescue him, and we shoot some of the Germans, but then they kill everybody that they got posted up against the wall. And so Polina runs outside, kills some more Germans, and then is like super sad as her dad like dies, and is like, oh, I gotta rescue my brother. Shit. One of the interesting things about this part of the game is that they really don't address this issue with her dad dying. Like, yeah, she's sad for like a minute, and then she brings it up a couple different times, but essentially, as soon as I shoot the bad guys, they shoot her dad. So it's her fault, kind of. Like, it's not her fault at all, because they were gonna like shoot these guys anyway. But normally in games like this, there would be something where she feels like guilty about the death of her father, like she should have been there for him, or she should have done something. She's like driven purely by like revenge after this point. So, which is, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, in fact, it's probably like a healthier way to deal with this than feeling guilt about anything you can't control. Is like, well, what am I going to do now? Or I'm going to kill these guys. And at first I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. They're going to go this route, but it doesn't make any sense, because she's like a teenager or like a young 20-year-old, not like a wise old person, and even them can have like severe trauma from this stuff, and she seems to like have no issue at all besides just desire for revenge. And then I was thinking about how this game generally has like some sort of like reverence for the main characters, and I kind of mentioned this earlier on, and this game definitely is like kind of like inflicted with the woke a little bit, but it's very minimal. But there's stuff, and I don't think that's it here either, because like, okay, well, yeah, the woman's super stoic, which doesn't make any sense, and then the black guy is like the leader, right, which is fine. I got no issue with that whatsoever. But it's in terms of like, and then you start playing the modern warfare games, or like, other games that are coming out this time in the West, and you're like, it's one of those patterns. You're just kind of like, wait, what's going on here? But then the Australian guy is just like some cocky white guy who's just like badass as hell, and he's also treated like some sort of reverent figure. The only person who's not treated well is the American, right, which is an interesting thing, right? So maybe that's why, like, because again, it's like an interesting. I start pulling these things apart, because it's like, it's pattern recognition. You're like, okay, when did this game come out? Okay, what's going on with video games in this era with these mainstream publishers and all that? And it's like, okay, so why are these things happening? So, but again, it's like, the Australian guy, the British guy, and the Russian, they have like no flaws. Like, every decision they make is like the right decision. They never really seem to struggle that hard, and they're very like cocky and self-assured. And then you have the goofy like American who like learns to like accept stuff from like a wise old black man. Like, it's just like, it's kind of bizarre, because it's like, well, that is definitely kind of like interesting. But the rest of this is it's just like an overall like inability to like write very well. And then you have Novik, who's a complete cipher, and then like he never plays this Richard character, so it's like, huh. But because Wade has like, he has like flaws, and he starts off like extremely arrogant and having this stuff, and then he goes through some struggles and has to like learn how to like do ground combat and not just be like an air boy or whatever. Is like, he's kind of the most interesting character, because he has like the most stuff going on, and like why did he run off, or he ran off to do this thing, and this and that. Well, everyone else is just like stoic and excellent across the board without any like need to do anything. And then even when they're like fighting, quote unquote, it's all part of the plan. It's all part of like their Ocean's 11 ridiculous nonsense. Anyway, back to Polina. So now she's got to go rescue her brother, right? So we sneak all the way over across town, kill, like sneak kill people, sniper kill people, and eventually we get to this post office where he was doing his trading, and so him and all the other like guys are imprisoned in the middle by the Krauts. So we wander around and we kill everybody. So you can do like kind of like sneaky, but these games are not made to be sneaky. Like I try so hard to like just kind of sneak kill, and like I'll literally like sneak kill a guy, and at the last second he'll like turn around, make no noise, and then die, and then everyone in the entire post office knows exactly where I'm at, and they're all gunning for me and running at me as fast as humanly possible, and just like firing like crazy and throwing grenades, and it's like, oh my gosh, game. So we kill all them, and then we climb up to the roof and we kill people up there so that the guys can sneak out, because there's like a sewer exit that we can take to get out of here and escape, so we can keep the fight for Stalingrad alive. And I love sniping. So again, the Polina levels, despite being kind of silly and like the ridiculous parkour, like it's not like I take a stairs and a ladder up to the roof. I have to like parkour up like some barely exposed bricks. God damn. And when you get there, there's like tons of stuff up there. It's like, what? Who brought all this up here? There's got to be like a more efficient way to get up here. If dudes are just like carrying like guns and like buckets of ammo and boxes of grenades and shit, like, and Molotov cocktails, like none of this stuff's light. Like, what in the world? But whatever, it's fun. So then Polina, after everyone gets inside the sewer, we like race down and get inside the sewer and like seal it off, because it's got some big like metal door right before the Krauts are able to get him. Misha's cool too, by the way. He's another lovable goof. So we head back to the present, and Richter, he's just beating up Polina because why not? He's not getting the answers that he wants. And then he goes and talks to his abusive husband, Fressinger, who tells him that, and Fressinger's like, you're getting played. You got to do this, something. And they're like, oh, hey, I know that they're not telling you the truth about this thing because we caught the American. That's right, Wade. He was trying to get a plane or something at like this place that Fressinger wants to make sure is safe so he can make his escape later, obviously. And let's see. Oh yeah, he got a plane, so they bring him down here and they like lock him up in prison. Then Polina gets thrown back into the prison and she's in a lot of pain, and she hits the wall real hard. Like she has some like very masculine energy. And everyone's like, are you okay? And she's like, I'm fine. And it's like, okay, Jesus. Everyone kind of acts satipotami and whatnot. And so Arthur does this like really ridiculous like leadership thing where he's like, what I'm going to do when I get out of here? What are you going to do when you get out of here? It's not terrible. It's just kind of like goofy in this game. It's like, what are we doing? And everyone has like, oh, I'm going to go see the giant titted lady at the bar. And this guy's like, oh, I'm going to get some crumpets from wherever. And then Polina's like, I'm exactly where I want to be. I just want to kill Nazis until I die. I got nothing to live for. It's like, Jesus Christ, Polina. Oh man, what a retarded thing. So anyway, then we head over to Wade. Richter starts questioning him. We find out that he's a lieutenant who's piloting an aircraft, which again doesn't make any sense because all people who pilot, they're all captains and higher. But whatever. So he's hanging out with his homie. What's this guy's name? He's a Hispanic gentleman. It's like Mateo, that's right. I was like, he has like a very like Latin name. So him and Mateo are like on the plane together, and Mateo talks about how he's going to help like shoot things down and stuff, and he does nothing but make side commentary while we're on the plane. So he's completely worthless. But the thing about him being a lieutenant is it actually kind of makes sense within the story, because Mateo mentions that his attitude and his freewheeling attitude and not listening to rules and kind of doing whatever he wants is the reason why he is being kept from being promoted. So he should be a captain, but he's not because of his antics or whatever. And now this is Midway in 1942. Yep, Midway, the most overdone naval battle in World War II. Fun. So they're in a briefing about how they're going to like go and destroy these aircraft carriers groups and whatnot. And so they head to their plane. They're just jaw-jacking the whole time. And then we get into the plane level, which is my least favorite of all Call of Duty levels, because they're absolutely terrible, except for that one in World War II, as I mentioned before, which was super dope as fuck, because we didn't have to fly around. We just had to like shoot things in the air and meander, and the whole scene was like very well animated and very well acted out and everything. It was so good. This is terrible because it's like, okay, we're going to fly around and barely shoot a couple of planes, and the game's just going to like carry on without it. The funnest part is we get to these aircraft carrier groups, and then we like dive bomb them, and then we have to like center like a thing and drop a bomb and pull up at the last second without dying, and so that was very fun. And then we kill some more Zeros, which is like the Japanese fighters. And then we fly to like the next carrier group, and it's like raining and stormy, and like everyone's dead, and it's very dramatic and very good. And then after we blow that one up, then it's like, all right, we're done, yay, da 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 da. Then we like crash land, and we head back to the present, and we see Wade being tortured before he's thrown into prison with everybody else. Richter is super pissed about what happening here, and how everyone's fucking around and like messing with him and whatnot. So he literally just shoots Richard in the head, and then Arthur is like super sad eponymous about that. He then heads out to Fressinger, who tells him that Hitler was a coward and that he's killed himself, and which is based as fuck. Even though Fressinger is like an evil monster himself, like it was like, oh yeah, Hitler is a coward. He was a coward, and he needed to kill himself. So good job. Then Richter and Fressinger have a conversation about loyalty and Richter's place in the New World Order and the New Reich or whatever. And then Richter sees him like dragging off some like not so loyal soldiers to be like executed. And so Richter begs for a chance to interrogate the prisoners and get what he needs and stuff. And then again, in my head, I questioned the motivation for Fressinger. I was like, why are you keeping these guys around? Like, what is the point? Why don't you just kill them? And he's like, no, I need to find out if they know about this stuff, because what are you going to do about it, bro? Like, Jesus. So now we go back to like Wade's second half of his story. He's in Bougainville, which is this like part of this island chain with the Japanese where he crash landed, and Wade's like kind of knocked out a little bit, and Mateo like covers him with some leaves and is like, hey, I'm gonna go for help, you wait right here. So of course Wade gets up, and then we gotta sneak, and we have another sneaky time. So we sneak through the jungle, we kill some Japanese soldiers, and then we steal their weapons, and we kill some more, and eventually we find Mateo fighting a Japanese soldier. And he defeats him, and then we're like, yeah, we did it. And then we get like surrounded by Japanese soldiers, and it's like, all right, you got us, fair enough. And so they drag us off to have some guy with a katana like yell at us, and then threaten to like stab us. But then we get rescued by a colored army unit, because they had like the Negro units, like I mentioned before, where it's like they're all black because they don't want to like mix races or some crazy nonsense during World War II. So so they get rescued by them, and the race thing kind of comes up a little bit, but very little. It's more about the Air Force versus the Army, like the grunt work versus like his like high flying stuff, which was an odd choice in my opinion, but hey, whatever. So throughout the level, he helps these guys like destroy this mountain these guns like up in the mountain, like big guns, like the artillery guns. And that, the whole point of this part of the story is that Wade learns to trust others and to work as a team, which, that's his like weakness and growth. While everyone else is just perfect and never has to improve or change anything, Wade actually has to learn how to work as a team. It's like, okay. So oh man, the writing's so bad. Anyway, so they assault the mountain and they win. They then see a plane, and then like the wise old black man is like tapping his nose and being like, this is why we brought you here, because we need you to blow the shit up out of this stuff. And it's like, you knew there was a plane here this whole time? The fuck? Like, how did you know that? Anyway, so we fight our way, kill everybody to the plane. Wade gets in and bombs the shit out of everybody and shoots the plane down or something. And it's like, awesome, that was great. All right, anyway, back to Polina. So it's been a year or so since the whole incident before with her dad getting killed and the attack on Stalingrad and stuff. And now she is being hunted as the Nightingale, an infamous sniper that is like leading, or that is like the main, one of the main antagonists of like the German occupation of Stalingrad. And she's, they have like her face pictured everywhere and all this stuff. And they're still working on getting the Germans out of Stalingrad, her and her brother, and they're like the resistance, if you will. And they're doing a pretty good job. But there's this guy, Steiner, that is kind of like their last impediment to get them out. So they're stalking this guy out in the snow, like her and her brother Misha, trying to work on getting out of here. And then during this like time period here, they observe Fressinger talking to Steiner, and they don't exactly know what about, but he hands Steiner something. And then we stalk some more, and then we get into like a fight and shoot some people. And then at some point, Misha gets shot. And, he's like, sister, you must go. You must kill Steiner. You must free our people, something, something. And she's like, no, brother. And he's like, pulls out a grenade. He's like, I will die fighting for our people and for the love of our country or something. It's very like patriotic and stuff, and very like, I would love to see like a German version of this. Like the real bold move, in my opinion, in like game design, is the person who makes the World War II game from the German perspective. That is going to be the most fantastic thing ever, in my opinion. Because like we see so much of this Russian shit, and I'm like, this is like such Russian propaganda coming from like an American company. It is like insane. Like, yeah, everyone is fighting their own little battles, but like, where's the game that focuses on like the Japanese attack towards the Americans? Like, where's that fucking game? Like, I'd like to see that. I don't care if they're the fucking aggressors. I don't care if they're in the wrong at the end of the day, because the hero, the winners write the history books. Because if Japan had beaten America, we'd all be speaking Japanese, and we'd all be talking about that terrible American government, right? Like, that's how this shit works. So like, I want to see a perspective from that angle, because it'd be more interesting than the same rote bullshit. And Polina and me, I actually like Polina and Misha as characters. I'm not gonna lie, because again, like, I feel like Vanguard is written like 100 times better than the Modern Warfare games that came out, I guess, around the same time when I finally did like the math in my head. But Reznov, hell yeah, Reznov. Like, fuck yeah, like nothing's gonna beat that guy. Like, I've seen it. I've seen the peak of Russian campaign with Reznov and his whole crew of homies. I don't need to see this shit. Like, I'm very like, yeah, this is fine. Like, I got no beef with it whatsoever, but I've seen better. Like, I've literally seen better, because I've seen Reznov and his campaigns from World at War, and then what we saw in like Black Ops as well. Okay. Anyway, like I said, it's fine. So then Polina like crashes down into the ground underneath where they're at, because apparently that's the thing they can do. And then he blows himself up to protect her, and then she sneaks around some more, and then we get some more sneaky sniper missions, which again, I like. They do a good job in this. It's like 100 times better than like the Modern Warfare sniper missions, like 100 times better. Like, it's still very easy to like get caught up in not being a sniper anymore. The best one did it was like the original Modern Warfare, but anyway. But it's still fun. I still enjoy myself. And then, okay, so then we finally kill our way to Steiner. And this is like the worst part of the game. And it's the worst part of the game because you spent this, like, this is not a melee-based game. And you're essentially forced to like sneak around, which sneaking around is very interesting. So Polina will do this thing, and I don't remember if the other characters do it too, because again, they all have like kind of like interesting abilities, where she will, if she's crouched, she will like go prone and go under things where you need to go prone without actually going prone, I guess because she's a girl and she's shorter. I don't know what the logic was there. But so it's easier to sneak around and move quickly in like the crouched and prone position essentially than it is with the other characters. But in this level, in like the concept of it, I'm not opposed to. So what happens is you and Steiner are like trapped in a room together, and he's got like a shotgun and you have nothing but like a knife. And it's like the knife your father gave you that you've had forever, and it's a knife she still carries around, and it's very symbolic in this game because it keeps coming up, and it's what you eventually use to kill Richter and stuff like that, right? So this knife's like her like last vestige of like her remembrance of her family and whatnot, besides like the rifle. Anyway, so she's crawling around in this room. There's a bunch of mannequins and stuff, so it's kind of like, and it's dark, so you're trying to figure out where Steiner is, but like the dude is like, I circled around the whole area a couple times, and like he was not there. And then like I just sat in one spot and waited, because I'm like, well, maybe he's moving and I'm moving at the same speed, like some funny thing. And I just sat there for like, I let the game just run for like 10 minutes because I was just curious if he was going to walk by, and he didn't walk by. And I was like, okay, so he's not walking around. And then I start moving again, and then at some point he just starts blasting me from behind. I'm like, okay, so that's where he was this whole time. So then I die, and so I go back to like the last checkpoint, and so I circle around to the area where he was when I died before, and he's not there. And I was like, okay. So then I move past that point, and then I get shot in the back because he was there. And I was like, what the fuck, game? And so it's, yeah, exactly. Like, it's like it's either super buggy or just poorly programmed, because you have to hit him, like, you have to sneak up behind him like 3 times, and it took like half an hour, because like literally it's like, okay, well, that's where he's at, got it, that's where he's hiding. I go back, he's not there, but then no, he is there. The game just didn't like let me see him there, because he had to shoot me first, and then I had to like run away, and then I had to like sneak back. Yes, so whatever's triggering in this, at least in this version of the game, maybe it's because it's the hacked version or something, but this part is so awful, and it took forever, and I kept just like I would circle around the whole little, and it's not that big of a room, I'd circle around the whole room, and when I say circle, I'd go in and out, like I'd like zigzag around this thing trying to get this guy to start shooting at me so I could fight him, and he just would not be there, and I would just keep zigzagging, going back and forth, and then I'd get shotgun in the back, and it's like I would literally just walked, like I was walking straight. So like I'm looking every direction. Like, do I need to walk backwards? Is that how I need to do this so I can watch him like magically teleport into here? Like, it was so bad. Eventually I stabbed him 3 times. Where was I? Oh yeah. And then he's like, oh no, and we chase him up to like the roof of the building, and then she takes out like his pistol or whatever, and she's asking about Freshinger and about what's he doing, and he says some crazy shit, and then she like shoots him, and then she picks a piece of paper that he was holding, and it's about Project Phoenix, and it's like, oh, okay, so she knew about Freshinger because of this, or Fressinger or whatever his fucking name is, and Operation Phoenix. So then we go back to the present, and Polina is telling Richter how Fressinger and about how he's making deals with like Rommel and the Steiner guy, and Steiner and Rommel are both like real German generals, while Fressinger and Richter are like made up characters for the story. And this kind of like frightens Richter some more, and then he brings Polina back and like throws her in, and then he's like yelling at them, and then he's like, I've had enough of this bullshit. Whoever tells me the truth about what's going on about Project Phoenix and about all this stuff, you can go. The rest of you are gonna die. And so the Australian guy Lucas, who is fucking awesome and looks great, like he looks handsome as shit, but like rugged, and like he's hands down the best like model in this game. And he's a bad fucking ass, and he's got the coolest like homie who, like, rest in peace, spoiler, dies during his mission. And I'm like, man, I love Dez. Dez was fucking sweet. And then there's a guy called Bluey that gets like shot in like the very beginning of the first mission, and then he keeps like getting spoken about like they're friends, because we see like an intro movie with him and his buddies. They're setting up like explosives because Lucas is like a demolition expert. In Australia, and he's called like the Rats because they're like the junior enlisted guys, and they're a bunch of like hillbillies essentially that they like brought in to like help out with like the desert front. And then they have this asshole Major Ham, who they have to like listen to, and he's a real prick, and he's all about like the British alliance or whatever, because Australia is like part of the Commonwealth or some shit. Anyway, we don't get all that up front. I just am rambling thinking about how much I enjoyed Lucas's level, because he's just good, and he has the best ability in the game, which is you can see where you're lobbing a fucking grenade. Yep. You can see the little arc, so you can plan it, and it's like super important, because some missions are like, hey, throw a grenade. Like the mission is literally throw a grenade inside that like APC or that tank, and you just gotta sit there and like lobby it into the tank, and it's fucking awesome. And he's so good, and he's such like the Australian accents are like the like ghetto Australian accents. They're so good. Like these levels with Lucas are fucking awesome. Like this is some peak Call of Duty. Like I wouldn't say it's good. It's like it's good. It gets as good as like decent Black Ops levels, right? Like not as good as like good Black Ops levels, but it's getting up there. Like I'm like, okay, yeah, I see what you're doing here, Vanguard. Like this game is way better than the Modern Warfare games. Like in like every respect, it's better than the Modern Warfare games. This game got a lot of shit, but the new Modern Warfare games are god awful compared to this game. Like this game's fine. Like it's like amazing. I was like, wow, this game gets a lot like a bad rep. Like it's not Black Ops level, but it's way better than the Modern Warfare games. Like shit. Anyway. Let's see. So, Australian is a great deal. Level takes place. Yeah, so we're in Africa, which is always fun to do Africa levels. My favorite part of like World War I, which was the battlefield version of like World War II, where you just play random levels in like World War I, was fucking sick. And the Lawrence of Arabia level was awesome. And it's just nice to be like different. It's nice to not be like in fucking Germany for like the 500th time, like, or France or whatever. Okay, so it's 1941, and they're in Tarbuk, setting up a bomb to get a convoy and steal some of their goods. And then, yeah, Hams is a real asshole, so they set the trap, and they get yelled at for playing cards and whatnot. They assault the caravan. They blow up too many trucks. Ham gets like super mad because they were supposed to grab them, not destroy them, or like whatever. So we kill. There's a shark that gets away. We chase after it, and then we find some papers and info talking about Project Phoenix, essentially, and talking about like a plan with Rommel has with Freshinger and stuff. And so we kill some more, and we fight some more. We find some more papers, and we find this big ass base, and we blow the shit out of it. Like we go plant explosives, and we're running around blowing stuff up, and then a plane comes by, and we machine gun that shit. And it's fucking awesome. And then when we get back, Lucas gets arrested for disobeying orders. And it's all because Hams is a total asshole. And so then we go back to the present, and the whole building starts to shake. And Richter makes some comments about something, and about how the top brass is making plans and doing this and doing that. Let's see. Oh no, he doesn't talk about it. We see Freshinger with like his crew of like Fourth Reichists who are all talking about how they're going to get out of here and they're going to start the Fourth Reich and how Hitler was an idiot and stuff like that. And then we head back into Richter's like mind, and he got out of jail so that he could like ride a tank and attack this other place. And so we kill, and we got to get to these like flat cannons. We blow the flat cannons. We kill the people in the flat cannons. Oh no. So we kill, and then the air support can't come in because the Germans got flat cannons, and Hams is an idiot. And so Dez and Lucas tell the lieutenant that helped him out before, who recognizes that they're actually really good soldiers and know what the fuck they're doing, that hey, they're like, hey, we're gonna go up this mountain and fight these guys. And he's like, I can't support you on that, and technically it's against the rule, it's illegal, but I support you. So just shoot a flare off, and I'll call in the air support to bomb everybody. And they're like, got it. So Lucas and Dez by themselves, and they have great banter. Like the banter is peak. Like it's so fucking good. And so they run up and they're just like kill everybody. But eventually, Dez gets shot, and so it's just Lucas alone, and we seize the flat cannons and we hold off a bunch of dudes, including like cannons and shit. And then the bombers finally come blow the shit out of everybody. And then we just get like a sad moment with like Lucas standing over Dez's dead body. And then Hams comes walking up, and of course Lucas runs over and punches the shit out of him, so he goes back to jail. Oh, Lucas, fucking awesome. So anyway, back to the present. Lucas has like his smug Australian grin talking to Richter, and then he pulls out the knife that Polina gave him. That's the knife that killed Steiner as well. And he chucks it at the guard who's standing there, and then he tips the table over and like knocks Richter down and like stabs him, or I can't remember if he stabs him here or shoots him or something. Oh yeah. No, he just assaults him, beats him up, and then he drags him back to jail. Meanwhile, Frissinger is still like toasting to like the Fourth Reich and talking about how they're going to escape this thing and do whatever. And back downstairs, Lucas drags Richter over to the jail, and then Richter's like begging for his life, and he's like, "Oh yeah, maybe you should have thought of it before you killed my best friend, Richard." And then he stabs him. It's like, and he says some crazy thing where it's like, because there's like a. And it's one of those things where it sounds like a callback, but like I don't remember them bringing this up. There's an artery right by your neck, like right above like your clavicle or like in there, whatever, and he just like slowly stabs it, because that way Richter is like 100% going to bleed out and die, and then he can't move his arm, so he can't like remove the knife either, or which doesn't matter because they just take the knife anyway. And Arthur's like, for Richard, motherfucker. In my head, I'm like, and for Novak, go fuck yourself. Anyway, they grab all their stuff and they run to escape. And then Arthur is like, hey, I still want to stop Frissinger. I want to figure out more about this Project Phoenix. But, either we can all go or we can all go home. What do you guys want to do? And everyone's like, hell yeah, brother, let's fucking do this. So we do. So everyone's willing to chase down Frissinger, because especially Polina, who's like, I just want to kill Nazis, man. So we go and then we fight. And there's no story here, but like we start off as like, who do we start off as? I think we start off as Arthur, and then it's just like the game like very dramatically switches to like Polina at some point because we got to go take care of some snipers, and then it switches over to Lucas because we got to blow up some more tanks with stuff, and then it switches over to Wade just because he's got to be here too because he's alive. And it's very dramatic and very, I wouldn't even say it's fun. It's fine. Like I feel like the game wants me to enjoy this part more than I do, but if anything, I'm just like, okay, whatever. You got to make it like more action packed, like that escape scene in Black Ops 6 where you're like on the motorcycles and you're chasing things and blowing up vans and stuff. Like that's exciting. This is just me slowly moving through a Call of Duty level where I still got to be careful about my 6 because my partners still don't know how to fucking fight for themselves. And so it's not like I'm moving quick or like making like quick decisions. I'm just like very slowly I run through quick. So I'm playing on like rookie mode and I'm just like pushing as fast and hard as I can to beat these games so I can talk about the next one. But it's fine. It's not as exciting as the game thinks it is. Anyway, so we end up let's see, so we end up in a hangar of this airfield where they're trying to catch a plane to get out of here. We fight some like elite troops, which I fucking hate elite troops in these games. They're awful. And then he's going to use this plane to escape. But then we finally catch up to him, and I think Arthur tackles him. I think we switch back to Arthur at that point, and by that point he's tackled him. And then he's like asking for, oh, just take me in. Like, I got a little information. I could be a benefit to the Allies and blah, 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 blah. And then Lucas is like, hey, man, maybe we should keep him alive. He does have like good information. And Polina's like, hell no, fuck this guy. And then she pushes him against the barrel and then like stabs the barrel and pours like gas all over him. And then she like throws a lighter to Arthur and Arthur sets him on fire. And I was like, damn. Meanwhile, Wade's like, hey, there's a plane here. I'm going to go get it started. And he runs off. And then Lucas is just like, fuck it, whatever. But Polina, man, she's a psychopath. She's like, fuck this guy. I'm going to light him on fire. Oh, God bless her. Whew. So anyway, then Wade like calls out again. He's like, let's get going. This plane that Frissinger was going to use to escape. And so everybody like runs onto the plane, and it's a very like exciting thing because the plane is like starting to take off, I guess. And once they get on there, they find like a treasure trove of like of documentation about all these projects, and there's papers on Project Phoenix, there's papers on Project Nova, yep, like Black Ops, Project Nova, hey, Black Ops, awesome, tying us all together, and there's papers on like Project Ether, which is the whole zombies timeline thing that started in World at War, and it's been going on in like every game since then. So here we go, Vanguard like ties it all together. So Vanguard literally like ties in. That's the thing. It like ties in Modern Warfare to the rest of the games, but not really. I mean, it does because of zombies. So the zombies is more than anything else is like what's carrying the weight of like tying Modern Warfare really into the rest of these games. That and like Zakharov's like very little appearance in like both Cold War and in Modern Warfare 2. I want to say the new Modern Warfare. I don't think he was in 1. I think they brought him up in 1, but I think they talk about him and Makarov in 2 more. You definitely deal with Makarov more in 2, if I remember correctly. Mostly 3, but anyway. Yeah, so again, it's like the Modern Warfare games. I'm almost like they can go fuck off and die. They have nothing to do with the rest of this like good quality shit. Even Vanguard, right? And that's the thing. And I say even Vanguard because if no one had said anything to me and I just picked this game up and played it, I'd have been like, that was pretty good. Definitely like a 6 out of 10. Maybe like at part like the Lucas levels were like a 7 out of 10. Nowhere near like the peak like Black Ops stuff, like Black Ops 1 and 2 and 6 and Cold War and all that good shit. But still like fine. Like this is, it's good. Modern Warfare is shit. Like the new Modern Warfare. The old Modern Warfare is excellent. So excellent. Excellent to play, fun, characters are good, well written, cool, yada yada yada. Okay, anyway, where is I? Oh yeah, the game also has like some other random project. I didn't write the name down because it's not important, because it hints at like a sequel that has not and probably will never occur. Because I don't think this game did that well, to be completely honest. Because again, people like hated on it, and I don't know why. Like I kind of get why. Like in the era of the time it was coming out, people were kind of getting sick of the woke bullshit, especially these like bros. And I guess the multiplayer in this wasn't that good. And so like Modern Warfare really like lives or dies on like it's got to have like the campaign and the multiplayer. And so Black Ops 6 is like their big problem is like the multiplayer it was like all buggy and shit, I guess. I mean, the main campaign was fucking awesome, but I guess multiplayer wasn't that good, which I do not care about, so I don't know that much about it. Anyway. But yeah, that's it. And then they're like, all right, and they fly off into the sunset, and that's the end of the game. And I was like, all right, that was good. That was good. I enjoyed myself. Like, no joke. Like, and it's like one of those things where like, yeah, I compare it to like Cold War, for example, peak Call of Duty, or like the original Modern Warfares, and it's like, no, that's nowhere nearly as good as that. Like, this is definitely a step away. But compared to like the more modern Warfare games, the modern Warfare games, the more recent ones, like this is 1,000 times better. Like I'd play this, I would literally play this whole game again than ever. Like didn't have to play like one fucking level of like Call of Duty the new Modern Warfares. They are such shit, but this is pretty good. So yeah, I enjoyed that. Definitely recommend and like now that it's like free and you can just like roll in there and not pay $60 for it. Like this is definitely worth like nothing. Like 100%. Like that was a fun campaign. There were some good levels. I definitely play like all the Black Ops games before I play this, even 3. But yeah, this is good, like shockingly good, and the story wasn't bad. It wasn't like woke-ish at all. Besides like Polina looking like a 40-year-old woman, but whatever. But yeah, there you go. So go ahead, like, share, subscribe, comment, and I will catch you guys later. Bye.